The 3rd anniversary is good so far, but this doesn't mean that all the problems were fixed. Hello guys, another day, another video, and I still need to milk the anniversary. However, I wanted to speak about the issues that I have with Dragon Ball Legends so far, and why I may start changing my content after the anniversary, or do some streams that aren't Legends related. If you're new, my name is White Rabbit. I focus mainly on Dragon Ball Legends and Dragon Ball content, with some other spicy content in the mix. Okay, but going back to my problems with Legends. After the 3.2.0 update, I believe, I started to really dislike the way the developers have been treating the game. Feel free to add your own points and opinions in the comments below. Also, don't get me wrong, Legends has done these issues that I'm gonna talk about for a while now, but with time it just seems to be getting worse and worse. First, I will start with the hyperdimensional co-op, a game mode that I somewhat enjoyed since I played with friends, but now it became a poopy show. And why is that, you may ask? With the unbalance of the difficulty. Before, we only had beginner, intermediate and hard. They were balanced in my opinion, didn't have much to criticize the difficulties on this game mode, but alas, we can't have good things in Dragon Ball Legends for too long, am I right guys? Sadly, I'm right. They now introduced the Extreme Co-op, a level beyond hard, where you are obligated to use the new units for extra boosts. And even so, you gotta do some prayers cause you have to be lucky to win the fight. That, or you have a 14-star boosted LF, then it might be easy. But for the average player, you get my point. I understand that they want to sell the units, but do you really think that people will summon to do co-op? Or even to try and surpass me? I don't think so. For me, the extreme wouldn't be that bad if they didn't screw up the rest of the difficulties. Now we have baby mode, beginner mode, intermediate mode, and you're gonna crack your nuts mode. It's very unbalanced. The other modes are a walk in the park, and the extreme is just ridiculous. Not only that, but they are starting to put stuff behind the paying wall. Yeah, you heard me, I'm gonna stretch that far. For example, you Zenkai Purple Broly to Zenkai 7, and you got his normal sleeves. You thought you would get the mission to get the other sleeves when he's full power, like kinda what they did with Namek Goku when he got his Zenkai and the card sleeves. Well, you're wrong, you gotta pay up, bish, alright? You gotta pay up. If this continues, I wouldn't be surprised if they put extra stuff behind the paying wall, because you can argue that almost every unit is actually behind the paying wall. I just really hate the state of co-op we have right now. Easy garbage or extreme, you gotta pray to Toshi to win it. At this point for me, it's hard to believe that the developers play the game at all, or if they do, the units have a lot of stars. This is just not fair for most players. And I said behind the paying wall because we all have to have boosted units, therefore you gotta summon. And if you're unlucky, well, GG, you tried your best, not enough. Which actually leads to my next issue that I mentioned. The boosted units. Look, I never cared for the boosted units idea, but this is getting out of hand. Try and surpass me was already an issue, but it's just an event here and there where you don't lose much, and you can cheese the system by doing float step, side step, and so on and so forth. But now putting that also on co-op? They kinda did it before, in a discreet way, but you could still use other units to defeat it. Now the co-op is soulless, a husk of what it used to be, and no, it never was great to begin with, but this just made it worse. Also the fact that the free units now, for example Legends Road, are also in dire need of boosted units. At least before you had like 4 units or so, now you, with the anniversary, it's like 2. Like, thanks Legends. Now to get free stuff, I gotta pay up. Again, these boosted unit things has always been a thing in Legends, but now it seems to be getting worse and worse, and they are more demanding for us to get the new units to be able to do anything in this game. To be honest, in the future, I wouldn't be surprised if everything in the game is relying on boosted units and boosted units alone. Talking about free units, this will touch a lot of topics. In the past, we got new units through events. Now we get them through missions instead. We get a little bit from the events, but for the rest, yeah, you have to farm. As if the game wasn't boring enough already. You know how I did those Goku missions? Yeah, I chose a team with the tech they wanted, chose a level, pressed auto, and it battled for me. All this while playing another game. Basically, while playing a game, doesn't feel like a game, but like a to-do list. Missions may be easier than battles and consume less time, but damn, they aren't fun. People don't get excited for missions. Personally, when I hear missions, I just roll my eyes because I know that 1. I will auto-battle all the time, 2. I may not finish because they'll ask for PvP, this happened with Legends Road Piccolo, 3. Expecting a lot of battles but end up doing chores instead, and 4. If I'm gonna end up doing auto all the way, at least put some battles instead. Like, come on bro, really? We love free units, because, well, they are free. But they are hiding behind, well, a paywall and missions, because, you know, at least with the Gokus don't suffer with that, but Legends Road, for example, you need to have boosted units to get power. Is it multi-Z power? I forgot the name. But you get what I mean. To boost them, you need to have, well, boosted units. I'm emphasizing this because Rising Battles actually were my favorites to do, and it felt so satisfying doing all of those battles and seeing the stars rise up. Then they substituted more than half the battles with missions, making a fun game mode to a boring one. That's why I just really complain about the missions. Not because they are hard, it's just because they actually ruined a game mode that I legit loved. I was always excited to see like a Rising Battle and anything like that. Now it's just like, oh yeah, 50 battles and then missions. Yeah, very heavy for this Rising Battle. No, I'm not. And the thing is, Legends doesn't have a lot of content to begin with. They're probably trying to stretch it out with these missions and the time gates. But I prefer to do battles and get everything done with instead of just dragging my ass to do the missions or just be constantly waiting for, you know, the time gates to end. Another thing I have issue with is the Ultra Space Time Rush. Look, I never liked this. It's probably my least favorite game mode, but at least it was easy to do and you could just get Chrono Crystals. It was like auto, you get Chrono Crystals. Ta-da! Now they've been making them harder and impossible to auto battle, since we need specific teams and you know that our AI, it's pretty garbage. Yeah. Of course, yes, you can get Zenkais now for free, which is good. They wanted it to be challenging, but then with certain missions, they ask you to do them. For example, missions that ask you to get certain rush medals. Yeah, right, like I would go through all those boring fights for a mission. Honestly, like, no, I will not do it. In my opinion, this is another way to make people pay for Zenkais instead. To make the battles insufferable, especially if you don't have a really good box. It just is really sad because the things that were easy to do or fun to do are just now insufferably, incredibly boring to do. You don't have enjoyment with the game. Right now, Legends should be like, I don't know if it should even be a game, but like a to-do list or something of sorts, because it's really not fun. And it's really sad to see how the game has went through the years since I've been playing it for around, I believe, 1 to 2 years. I don't have a good memory, but I remember just really loving Legends. And yeah, you could say that I was a noob and whatever, but even after not being a noob, I still enjoyed the game. I still enjoyed doing co-op. I still enjoyed doing the events. It was fun. It still was fun to do. Yes, we did have missions that were rewarded with CC, but I mean, I don't know, now it just feels everything forced to do missions. In the past, be like, oh, you want CC? Here are the missions. Now, if you want the unit, you'll be doing those missions. It just feels just so shallow. It really feels shallow. So these were the topics that I wanted to talk about. I'm not gonna touch PvP because it's something I don't enjoy doing, and many people already spoke about the issues with them. I wanted to speak about the PvE side of Legends. I didn't mention the Tournament of Power because it also is a mess. I don't really enjoy it, but I think it's okay. I don't have a big problem with Tournament of Power. wish it would have been an arena sort of mode where you battle with your own hands, with your teams to pass the next stage. Sorry if that sounds weird, I had a hard time saying stage. Next stage. Okay. Like a rising battle sort of things where you go and go and go till you can't no more, you know? If I missed anything that you feel that was important, please leave a comment down below. I may add extra stuff if I end up discovering more bad things about Legends, cause nowadays that is not hard. I mean, it just isn't. And for those who say, why don't you play something else? Well, fun fact, I already do. As if the game is free of criticism just because of that. And like I said before, I am sad with the game because I used to really enjoy it. Now it's just plain boring. Sometimes people just shouldn't fix what wasn't broken to begin with. And also, I will say this, it can be a bit toxic, but in the past, I actually considered giving some money to Dragon Ball Legends where a banner of a Broly would come. But right now, forget it. I'm not gonna spend a penny in the game if they continue to the path of making the game more boring, more mission-based, and just whatever they are doing right now, because everything you think it's good, they end up screwing it up instead of making it better. So I'm usually someone who's very positive. I always try to see the good side of the game, the good things, but right now, with all the bad stuff happening in the game, it's hard to find the good stuff. That's all for today. I hope next video will be a bit more uplifting, and I don't know, maybe I can go through the good side of Legends. That's gonna be a tough video, but I will not be opposed to that thought. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Stay tuned, my friends.